the water is a representation of Allah's royalty.
That's right.
So we go back to we as a representation of Allah's royalty. And sometimes they are temporarily capable of it, so you get really happy. And then they use what they heard later on against you. And then you realize you're not going to make that mistake again. Fame as nothing more than an opportunity. Like intelligence, like wealth, like other, strength. People have different opportunities in life. Fame is one of those opportunities.
Based on the Quran verses that Allah describes or consider himself as we and I. And I asked many times, to the preachers, and
allow me to answer.
There are different answers,
Okay.
So I'm just.
And I'll give you a different answer too.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. I've got a full video on use of we in the Quran. I'll give you the summary version.
All right.
Everywhere Allah uses we for Himself in the Quran, it's immediately followed by the singular.
Yes.
So immediately.
Yes.
So inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr, for example.
All right.
Right. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم. Rabb is singular.
Yes.
So there's never any confusion that the plural is actually plural. Immediately it gets followed by the singular. Like إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك. Immediately.
Yes.
Right. The second thing is, we was used in the Torah also before the Quran to describe God.
Yep.
Because in the language of the ancients, and actually even today at some level, royals and governments talk about themselves as we. I remember Barack Obama's speeches where he used to say, we've signed a document today, blah, 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 because he represents the entire government, not just himself. So Allah, and sometimes he can speak on behalf of his entire authority and say the word we. Right? So that's another implication of the word we. In the Quran particularly, you'll find that an interesting thing, when Allah mentions water, then he switches to the we sometimes. So he'll be talking about Allah, 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 and then we send down water.
Yes.
Because kana arshuhu ala al-ma. His arsh is on the water. So it's the water is a representation of Allah's royalty.
That's right.
So we go back to we as a representation of Allah's royalty. And finally, ana, I, is used in the Quran also. And it's used when Allah is either extremely angry or extremely loving. So in those two extremes, you find the use of ana. So those are the few observations about the we. And then finally, there are three kinds of pronouns: third person, second person, first person. So we and I is first person, you and you all is second person, and he, she, and they is third person. But the plural is only used for the first person. You never find they for Allah or antum for Allah. You say anta and huwa. So the only plural is in the first person, which means it's not literally plural. If it was actually plural, you would find huma or home or antuma and antum also in the Quran, and you don't find that. Okay. Guys, sorry for the interruption in the middle of this lecture. Just before you continue, I want to let you know and encourage you that I want you to sign up for BayyinatTV.com and help others sign up or even sponsor students for BayyinatTV.com so we can create worldwide communities of students that are studying the meanings and the benefit and the wisdom of the Quran and are, inshallah ta'ala, spreading that in their own circles. Thanks so much.
Good question, thank you.
Yes.
How do you find balance between space and respect in terms of parents and daughter? Because I want space from my parents, but I think it makes them think I'm not being a good daughter, like I disrespect them. But I saw my friends that had the space from their mother, but she lost respect for her, and her mother wants to get it back from her daughter.
I think I understand what you're saying. So the thing, my sister, about space is that you're not always going to get it. Not everybody can give you space. And even though parents are supposed to give it to you, not every parent will. In fact, most parents won't. So they're very fortunate few that are able to do that. Right? So there's a reason Allah tells us the stories of prophets in the Quran, like Ibrahim alayhi salam not being accommodated by his father. Right? Or Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, whose mother was the way she was, and things like that. So your parents, if you want space, you're going to have some very open conversations about what that means. And then you're an adult, so you'll know that they're capable of it or not. And sometimes they are temporarily capable of it, so you get really happy. And then they use what they heard later on against you. And then you realize you're not going to make that mistake again. And that's okay. Sometimes we do have family that's not able to accommodate us. Yusuf's brothers couldn't give him space. I'm sure he would have loved it, right? So we just ask Allah that He will bring people in our life that can.
Amin.
Inshallah. Okay?
Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you for being a big part of my hijrah life. Yeah, thank you.
May Allah continue to make your hijrah strong.
Amin, amin. Thank you so much.
So how do you handle fame?
How do I handle fame?
Yes, because it's some kind of contagious to some people. It's not easy to handle that kind of
I have a lot of weaknesses. Fame is not one of them. I have a lot of them, but I see fame as nothing more than an opportunity. Like intelligence, like wealth, like other, strength. People have different opportunities in life. Fame is one of those opportunities. Whatever opportunity Allah gives you, just use it to do something good, right? Because my fame doesn't make me more valuable than you, or closer to Allah than you, or a better person than you. It just makes me someone who Allah gave a different opportunity than you, right? There are people that are much smarter than me, much more educated, much more intelligent, and they're not famous. That's not because, so I know I'm famous not because I deserve it, but because Allah made this opportunity happen, right? So I have to just accept that and just use it to do something good. Because Judgment Day is going to come, I'm not going to be famous, right? It won't matter. Once I'm in my grave, it doesn't matter how famous I was, right? So just use what Allah has given you, that's all. Don't let money get to your head. Don't let strength or youth or looks or fame, none of those things should get to even your education, it shouldn't get to your head. Inshallah. Hey everyone, you just watched me answer a question somebody had about the Quran. I'm sure you have many questions about the Quran yourself. A lot of these questions get answered in the Deeper Look study myself and my team do and turn into a series of the Quran on the Deeper Look series available at bayinatv.com. So get your questions answered, sometimes even without having to ask them, by studying these surahs in depth with us at bayinatv.com under the Deeper Look section.